Hello everyone and welcome back to IRC's Regions Cup. We are in week 2 currently. This is of course the third season of IRC and we are streaming today AC at a track in Germany, and the reason I say that is because I'm not really familiar with its name, and hence out of respect for the track I do not want to mess up its name. But I'm pretty sure Dan, who's also joining me in today as a streamer and a co-commentator, who perhaps clear that doubt out for me.
Yes, hello to everyone who's watching, and a special hello to you as well. Simply, it's a fine day to be streaming this event on AC, and for the first time for me, in fact. And yes, unlike you, I am an expert in pronouncing this track's name. It's Oschersleben, the Oschersleben GP. So I think, yeah, it's the first time in a really long time that we are back on this platform for the MX5 Cup. uh, I really don't know why they call it the MX5 Cup. MX5 is also known as it's also called the Miata. I just find the name a lot more cuter and more catchier and just catchier, to be honest. But yeah, it's a lovely day to be watching this, to be spectating this marvelous event.
Lovely day indeed, yeah. Beautiful weather out there. Getting a bit hotter now because we're getting into the summer months, but yeah, that's fine. We're used to it at this point. But yeah, we are. I'll explain you guys the format for today's race. So it's going to be a 10-minute qualifying followed by a 30-minute race. And there's a race two, which is also of the same length, 30 minutes, and its grid will be set by the reverse of the results of the first race. The weather, I believe, is dry, and the session start time is at 12 p.m. So no weather or such expected. Quite a good number of people have showed up here. So thank you to all of the drivers who have showed up, and of course, thank you all to all of the coordinators for arranging a beautiful event as well. And I think Dan, you have a few stats for us, don't you?
Yes, indeed. Simply Whitey. The stats are for the results of the time attack session that happened throughout the previous week, and it's for the, I think it was in the Bathurst circuit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, it was.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know which car it is, although. So yeah, here we go. So the winner of the fastest lap was done by Mr. Sanil with a 144.678. He over a course of 75 laps, so he gets the maximum number of points. And the most laps done was by Logesh. So yeah, almost. Yeah, the next closest person is just I think 70 laps behind him. So yep, Davlish surprisingly takes P2 for a change, followed by Deepak, who's nearly a second off of him in P3, followed by SD. So it's a pretty good showing from the Southeast boys as usual, pretty much like the F1 platform. So yep, we have 30 or nearly exactly 30 drivers setting in lap times. Although not everybody gets points here. I think it was just only the top 15. So
Top 15.
yeah, and yeah, there we go. Like I said, the Southeast domination is pretty visible here, with them taking away 107 points, followed by Southwest. Although with the fastest lap, will take away 71 points, and yep, there. I think the next team was West or Central.
It was Central with 64 points and
Yes,
West with 30.
yeah. So that was the results, and now we'll show you the overall standings of the championship throughout all events. So there we go. Southeast, throughout all the three platforms did yeah, including Dirt Rally. So we Southeast has 560 points, followed by the Central region with the 407 points. The Central region, although having, in spite of having the fastest drivers in their respective platforms, do not have the numbers like the Southeast guys. So they are followed by the West team with 320 points, followed by the Southwest team in 276 points. Boy, am I glad that I'm not in their team.
As you again mentioned with Southwest, it's just unfortunate that they don't have drivers to be taking part. A lot of the drivers didn't show up for yesterday's Monaco Misery. And if you haven't watched that event, by the way, you should check it out. Amazing races, both of them. But yeah, unfortunately for Southwest, they have strong, drivers in them, quite a few strong drivers. But again, no shows do not help them. Uh, as well as the other concerning the other regions, Southeast, as you said, they have pretty decent drivers, but they for every event so far they've come up with all 10 drivers who are pretty consistent again, as I said. Hence why they've scored so many points throughout all of the events that we have held. Central, although of course have drivers like Tavlees Singh for ACC, they have Moto, Aradhya Gupta for F1, and a lot more other faster drivers. Kind of have the same situation where have to fit in a lot more people, and hence why they can't really put all of their big guns in already, and that's why they're kind of lacking on points. Although on paper they, I'd say, are the strongest team. But for now, West only about 80 or so points behind Central. Southeast is quite far off in the lead. So I'd say the fight for P2 is definitely between Central and West.
Indeed, but we still have a week left to go, and let's not forget about today's event where we have some of the fastest guys from the throughout the whole region, throughout all the teams from the like Davlish and Helium, for example, driving today. So can expect them to be taking away the maximum number of points. And looks like the quali session is up, so why don't we jump on board the game?
Sure. And yeah, very beautiful graphics we have on screen, thanks to all the people who've put in efforts making these mods, unlike F1, where if you use mods you get banned online, even if it's just for levels. Again, EA tags. But yeah, moving on to our qualifying that we have here, Davlish in pole right now by about 8/10 from FIFA Kanak. Shantanu is quite close to him. Yeah, those graphics are amazing, to say the least. FIFA Kanak is behind Davlish Singh by over a second and a half. Shantanu, I'm not sure who that is in P3 with another 2.2 second gap to Davlish Singh. Moto, who seems to be quite a strong contender for this race, for this event as well. So we'll see if he can improve his lap times quickly. Asheray or Star Max Lord, whatever you want to call him, in P5. Quite close to Moto, so Moto I think has messed up his lap somewhere, and Swagger Turbo is 5 and a bit seconds off of the bleach, but you can't really blame Swagger Turbo for such, since he is on controller, so it is quite hard to drive a simulator with a controller. And yeah, still big props to Swagger for showing up and still, trying to gain as many points as possible for his region.
Yeah, Swagger, have to give him, we have to really appreciate him. Man's got balls of steel for trying to even open this game on a controller. Yeah, as you can see here, he's literally sliding all over the place, because AC is very punishing if you don't have precise steering inputs. Oh, and there we go. I see me rolling. Yeah, Swagger is, I'm not really expecting him to put in a competitive time. But yeah, if he manages to finish anywhere in the top 15, he'll make it into my list for the driver of the day, if there is such a list.
Indeed. I mean, points are still points and efforts are still efforts, and clearly Swagger is putting in the efforts right now. Although I'm pretty sure he'll get quite a few good clips of him drifting off of the stream, so perhaps more content for him. You know. But right now, by the looks of it, Danish and the Real SD have taken a slow outlap, since they're over 20 or so seconds off the bleach, and of course that's not their true pace. So yeah, I think they've just taken a slow outlap, and now they will be starting their super hot laps onward with Danish, who crosses the line with a 1:45.3. That puts him about 3 seconds off, close to 3 seconds off of Davlish. And yeah, Davlish back again to being in P1. And that is the killer curve in turn 1 that the drivers will have to watch out for, because if you take the right amount, you'll gain a lot of time. Too much, and that happens.
Yep, also there was a little bit of desync there. F1's not the only game plagued by this particular issue. So yeah, we will see a few cars jumping about here and there, doing serious side steps like One Punch Man. So yeah, do not get alarmed, folks. Or your favorite driver is safe and sound on the track.
Indeed, it will fix itself, the desync, within a couple of seconds of it happening, so fear not. The real SD goes up into P8 over 45.0. Not a bad lap from the real SD. Again, these were the laps that these drivers are doing. I believe a few of them do have at least another second or so left in them if they can absolutely nail their laps. Still 7 minutes to go in this qualifying though, so not a lot of pressure on them just about yet. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, these cars are not very aero dependent, and as you can obviously see, they don't have any wings. They're very mechanically dependent, so that does mean that sometimes in some corners, especially for drivers who drive on the F1 game quite a bit, they try to push these cars like they have a lot of aero. For example, perfect example is these corners where some drivers will try to take it flat all the way you have to lift for them. And yeah, quite a tricky section actually. Two left-handers at a flat and sudden braking here, and that can really unsettle your car. So a few drivers kind of try to rely on the downforce, but then again, these cars do not have downforce. And there's another corner to look out for because that tire barrier is immovable. So if you hit it, it's a race over for you essentially. And yeah, coming back to my earlier point, mechanical grip is quite a bit of a crucial part of these cars. So drivers will be on the limits of this car on this circuit. Hence why I believe it was chosen, because it is amazing for racing as well as pushing the drivers to keep their cars on the absolute limit to gain as much time as possible.
Yeah, yes indeed. Due to the obvious lack of aero, it will be the drivers will have to be reliant on the mechanical grip, like you said. And I think we missed a few highlights here because Deepak has set in a time for P3 with a 43 and 43.7, closing to 43.8. And FIFA kind of just followed him with a P2 lap of I'm not gonna bother with the maths here, but it looks like there's a bit of racing going on in front of us. Let me take a quick look at that. Just give me a second. It was a few drivers. Yep, there we go. So we have two drivers who are already at it. Shantanu and Richie, also who's also known as Babaji in our server. So yeah, no quarter being given here in spite of it not being a race session. Ooh, yep, that was a desync I had mentioned before, and yes, Shantanu I think missed the apex by quite a bit there. So, yes.
I don't think he's on a hot lap though.
Yeah.
Is there any way to tell if they're on a hot lap or not, or do we just have to guess?
Yeah, I think I'm not really familiar with the game. Oof, well, I think there was a driver. Oh yeah, that was just SD. And Tanish. Okay, I don't know what these guys are up to, but it looks like they're not on their hot laps. So yeah, they're safe for now. In the meantime, let's jump back to the times that have been set so far. So 17 out of the I think 20 drivers that have joined the lobby so far have set in times, and there we go. We've got our 18th driver also, who's set in a lap of 48.477, and look at that gap, my friend. Just 7 milliseconds separating P17 and P18. And the surprise is that and the biggest surprise is that it is Worship the Panda who's 6 seconds off of Dawlish's pace.
I think he joined recently and this is his first lap, so we can give him a bit of an excuse as to not setting a proper lap time.
Yep, we just have 3 minutes left to go, and Panda looked like he was cutting a bit of grass for a bit there. Sporting that orange livery, the number 36, he does run a bit wide. The obvious lack of practice showing there. He does have a bit of a busy life, so probably did not get enough time to get used to this track and this car. Although a lot of drivers seem to claim that not knowing this car, not knowing how to drive this car is a crime. I don't know if that is an overstatement, because yeah, this car doesn't. I think it dishes out just 180 bhp. So if you do have wheel spin or anything like that, it's just plain a skill issue. As oof. You saw that red car of, I think that was the west region of the southwest. Yeah, it was the south. It should be the southwest car.
Actually, to correct you, Assassin, the drivers cannot select what livery they choose, as the game does not give them the option to do that. So it's just random liveries for everyone.
Oh well. I mean, at least as long as they don't get disqualified, that's all that matters. Because we do take this issue quite seriously for the F1 games, for the F1 platform. Oh, and that was a yeah, we saw a driver spinning out of the right-hander after the tire barrier chicane. Yeah, unfortunately couldn't actually determine who it exactly was, because every driver is marked by a red blip in the minimap, in the minimap.
Yeah, that is a bit of an inconvenience, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, it is still helpful in the sense that at least we can see a proper map compared to the normal default Assetto map where you can't really see much.
Well, I could adjust a few things here and there. Yep, there we go. Now you can see who exactly screwed up where.
It's going to be a bit of a mess here.
We can
squint my eyes to see.
We can keep it for now. And yes, yeah. Now I did see Tanish going off track, and yeah, he immediately went into the pits. RTG. Yeah, returned to garage. We do see quite a few drivers taking a few liberties. I think we can see.
There's only about 30 seconds left, so it makes sense why they're taking liberties to ensure that they start their laps, and that is Richie Gyan, or more familiarly known as Babaji, doing a bit of a drift corner to start his lap.
As Richie Gyan, let's just call it Babaji, makes it down the end of the straight. He takes a lot of that curb, almost on two wheels. Has to go a little wide here because this corner is a late apex corner, and that is the end of the quali session for those drivers who did not cross the finish line before the timer. So we just have these few drivers who are yet to complete their laps. So and we do see the car of who was that again? Yeah, that was Shantanu spinning off, and that is the end of his quali lap. We're still on board Richie, who's making his way through the triple left-hander. Takes it fairly cleanly, I suppose, as he approaches the tire barrier chicane, goes a little bit into the grass here, takes the sausage curve. It looks like he does not take the entirety of that apex near the tire barrier, but yeah, I think he's called it a day and terminates his hot lap right there. Let's just stay on board the real SD, who is currently in P6, just 500s behind Eitzel. These drivers actually seem to be off pace because they were setting times in the 43s in the practice runs. But we've so far only seen sort of like banker laps from them so far. I think he carried a little too much speed into that corner. It looked like it from my angle, but he does cross the line and improves by nearly, I think, half a second, and goes into the 43s and into P5 with that lap.
He improves by 2/10.
Yes, although Eitzel, who was SD's rival, does pull out, and yeah, that is the end of the quali session. So
that was my screen.
I'm sorry, what?
So I thought that blacking out. I thought that was my screen.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I am not sure how we can view the full quali results over here. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. So the fastest time, although was set by Davlish, 42.4. Think he
If you click on the button,
which button?
the fourth, the last one.
Print this one.
No. The on the left hand side, on the left column.
This one. Oh, there we go. Huh. All right. So, okay. So the race has started. So can't do much. I'm afraid. Just give me a second. Yeah.
An exclusive inside view of the car for you guys.
If you want to, I can probably start the race also, but it's best if I don't, because there is a driver behind me who's probably cursing me. Would probably curse me if I end up blocking him. But unfortunately,
Nirma, since he did not set a lap time.
Oh, then I don't think I'll feel too bad if it's Nirma.
Okay. Okay. That was unexpected. But I think for now the best thing you could do is just, as soon as the lights go out, just pull off to the left. That's really all you can do. Letting you back into.
Yeah,
just pull off to the left.
The lights are out, and yes, there we go. Yeah, I did it. So we're safer now, and the race is on. Davish looks to have made an outstanding start, and I was briefly in P1 for a moment. All the drivers seem to have made a clean getaway for now, but we are still yet to approach turn 1, where all the carnage is bound to happen. The drivers are taking it extremely cautiously through turns 1 and 2. It looks like there are a few position changes, although this game does not provide me with the privilege of a helicam. I think, yeah, I did see a few drivers going off track there. I think it was the yellow car of Nikhil. Looks like there is a position change in the front. Deepak has moved down to P4, followed and with Helium overtaking him. It looks like FIFA Kanak and Helium are going side by side, and Helium manages to squeeze through the inside through the triple left-hander. And the action is still not died down. Just give me a second. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, it looks like there have been quite a few position changes. Deepak has dropped down one position. Helium has gained, I think, 2 positions. Itzel, and where is SD? I don't see SD anywhere here. Oh, SD has dropped down considerably. P18 all the way from P5. That is a massive downer for him. Looks like there are 2 drivers in the pits already. That is, I think.
Attitude.
Yeah, that's
Shantanu and the other one's you.
Oh, yeah, okay, my bad. Shantanu's name is quite big. So yeah, I think that was SD almost. Yeah, I think SD went off the pit stand there. Oof, there's few drivers going side by off track. Yeah,
that's Starmax.
Yeah, there were a few drivers going off track there, and it is a bit tough to keep track of all of this. Oh my God, there's just too many drivers here on track, and yeah, the 3 people going side by side almost there. And that's Madhav, aka Shalak, almost going off track there. And yeah, pretty chaotic start for now. Yeah, simply please take it away for a bit. Let me go have a sip of water, please.
Yeah, sure, no worries. That's Ronak, or also known as RB Ferralo, who is fighting it out with Worship the Panda here. And RB Ferralo seems to be ahead. They're going side by side for about 2 corners there, but through that double left-hander, RB Ferralo made a move, and he is ahead. And that double left-hander is actually quite a tricky corner to make a move on. So yeah, props to RB for making a very dangerous move there. And these drivers seem to be quite close, and I believe I know the reason behind it. I mean, of course, their pace is their pace is quite close to each other, but it's also the fact that they're all running the same setup. As on board with Faizan, who has sent it, or at least tried to send it on Tanish. He's screwed up because of that move, and that's RB Ferralo who's made a move on him. Have a bit of contact, and that's Faizan losing out on a lot of positions. Samad, or also known as Nirma, washing out Nirma, on a comeback as well, driving in our league after a very long time. So welcome back to him in the black car number 24. He's battling it out with Worship Panda as he seems to be ahead of him. Although Panda will have the slipstream, so he could perhaps try and size up a move going into turn 1. Watching the two of them as somebody else is going side by side as well. That's RB Ferrell and Tanish. Oh, that's Charlalet or Madhav. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. Madhav has spun. I think he's had a bit of a contact with the sausage curb on the inside. He's just flung himself, as we saw in qualifying as well. So yeah, that is a curb that the drivers have to be wary about not shit, because again that could happen. It's gone from P8 to P16. That's Faizan on the comeback now. He was in the top 10, but again, of course, because of the contact with RB Ferralo, he's down in P13. He's making moves there. That's Real SD also making moves behind on Nikhil. Real SD getting past him, and yeah, I mean, I personally I really like the Real SD's cars colors. I don't know, I just like that color in general, that bluish color in general. But yeah,
The Aston Martin green. As a, yeah,
I wouldn't call it.
It's close to the Aston Martin green.
Is garbage.
That very extremely darkish green color. Oh, that everybody's familiar with.
Let's go down
SD.
to the lights.
Ooh, gets an excellent slipstream off of Faizan, and ooh, there was a decent moment there once again. And looks like, yeah, SD's backed out of that move. And I think the car of Dark Knight went off track, or yeah, had a moment there, and he looks to have slowed down a lot. SD tries to go
Habib.
It's
Nirma.
Oh, sorry, yeah, my bad. It was Samad Habib. The car in front of him was Dark Knight, as SD and Faizan look to be going side by side. But Faizan also looks to be barely ahead, but now it's, as we are approaching turn 1.
Still side by side.
Almost as, Faizan completely closes the door on SD, and he has to back out of that, unfortunately. But it has given Charles Leclerc to, the room to attempt to make a move, but I don't think he will be making anything out of it in this corner, in this particular scenario here. And yeah, I think there was an off moment for Dark Knight, as Samad looks to have taken that position off of him. P11. A lot of overtakes. I think we can make this a regular thing. Probably will tire out the commentators by quite a bit if we do this every weekend. Oof. There's just simply too much to be going on, and best part about this is that the cars are not that quick that the gaps spread out too much in a short span like the F1 platform. And there's something going on here also between Moto and Ronak Bhakte, as Ronak looks to have taken a stranger line, worst line compared to Moto. And Moto tried to does squeeze down the inside, and now they are going next to each other, and almost in a drag race of sorts down the finish line. Who's going to make it to the front? It will be Moto who will try to brake later. And yes, he does squeeze through, and the driver behind, I think that was Tanish. He made a bit of contact, had some contact, went and hit Ronak in the rear end. Yeah, almost lost his car and did lose a lot of time.
Yeah, unfortunate for Tanish. He was just trying to, use the opportunity of RB making a move on Moto, and that's Faizan going slow. He's not cooked his engine, but I think he's been taken out again.
Yes, yeah, he was quite close to Charles last time. last time I saw him before I switched to his feed. So yeah, I think he might have had an off moment there. And ooh, that's Nikhil going against the man on the controller. The man with the balls of steel.
Oh my god!
Somehow with God's grace, still managing to keep his car on the track and managing to still stay within, stay in P15. Oof!
Oh no! Okay.
Okay, almost heart in the mouth moment over there. Oh my god.
I think driving behind Swagger, although of course no fault of his own, Nikhil does have a heart in his mouth right now because it is getting a bit. That's Samad going slowly. He's slowed down. He's at contact with someone. Swagger's gone up onto the dirt, and that is Nikhil who's taken the opportunity of getting past Swagger. But yeah, that was a bit confusing to say the least. That's Faizan as well, right behind Swagger Turbo, and Swagger has the slipstream of Nikhil. We go on board if that's possible of Swagger. Swagger has sent it. NFS cam there for a second, and he is ahead of Nikhil. A good move, but I think he is faster on the straights. I think he's getting a good exit out of the final corner. That's Faizan going off wide onto the grass. I think he's getting good exit out of the final corner, but he is kind of struggling. As you can see, he is drifting a bit, but then again, no fault of his own. He's on a controller, and this game's just kind of undrivable on a controller. So yeah, still good job from Swagger. And as Dan said earlier, if he finishes in the top 15, Dan will make him his unofficial driver of the day.
He is putting on the performance of his lifetime. I don't think he would have raced so hard, tried so hard even in the F1 game. But man, oh man, he is, impressing a lot of us here.
Indeed, he is struggling on the chicanes. To be fair to him, it's kind of hard to take the chicanes in the controller, where you need absolute precise control because of how close the tire barrier is. And considering Nikhil is on a wheel, I'd say Swagger is still holding up fairly well against him.
Yeah, and
as I say that, Swagger goes offside, and that overtake was too comical. His rear just hit his front. Nikhil's rear hit Swagger's front, and that pushed him more off into the gravel. And yes, Swagger's lost a lot of position because that. Faizan will absolutely love it though. Yep, Faizan's pass. Nikhil loves. So Faizan absolutely enjoying the show, although of course he would rather be in the top 15 because that is where he gets points.
And look at these two cars
squeezing out Ashray. Will Ashray send a move? He's looking down the inside, but yeah, does not send it. Good move from Ashray because he knows that Swagger is on a controller, and if he turns in at the last minute, it'll be wraps for him.
Yeah, I think Ashray, it was Swagger almost pushing Ashray into the grass, but it looks like he had a better straight line. Man is in full out burnout mode right now. He's drifting in every single corner.
I think he's mapped his brake as a handbrake.
Yeah, possible that could also be it.
Oh my god!
He is putting on quite a show for us. It's not just a race going on here, folks. We're also witnessing an incredible stunt show by Swagger Turbo as Chandrapal looks like he lost the car and faces through the barrier, the board over there, and yeah,
almost close, very very close to an illegal re-entry there. As moving up, we see a battle between Babaji and I think that's Eitzel.
Yes. But for now it looks like
that is
Eitzel. That is Eitzel.
Babaji is still behind Eitzel. Eitzel managing to stay ahead, but Baba is a faster driver on this game, and I'm so sorry. Eitzel is defending off well from a faster driver, but the question is for how much longer will he be able to do that? Because 16 and a bit minutes left to 17 minutes left in this race.
Almost halfway.
Leash is almost 10 seconds ahead, almost halfway, as you said, yep. And yeah, I mean, Etzel will be quite happy, so will his region be Southeast for finish for him. West will be delighted as well with a solid points finish for Babaji because he is in West. And yeah, I mean, of course, it is a kind of a reminder to the drivers that this is a fight for the regions, not for personal gains. They will have to play it considering the rest of the region and, yeah, perhaps not make risky moves like RB Ferralo, who has been making quite a bit moves through the field. So has been the real SD, and they're right now behind Danish in that neon yellow-ish car, and Danish on the outside still stays on the outside. He's defending off from RB Ferralo as much as possible. Goes onto the curb. That's going to slow him down. So this will help RB to catch up to him even more. And the real SD will also be benefiting off of this because these guys are fighting. And that's Danish off. And that's Ferralo ahead. And so is Real SD. Real SD gaining 2 positions in 1 corner. That was an amazing move by the Real SD. Although the fight's not over, since RB Ferralo got a much better exit out of the final corner. The Real SD and RB Ferralo going side by side. Real SD has the inside, so will he be ahead going into turn 1? Who will brake later? The braking meter is at about 75.
Oh,
they both brake at the same time, but RB Ferralo has contact with the Real SD, and now Danish is right behind Real SD. If we go on to the Real SD really quickly.
Oops.
That's fine. Yep, that's Davlish. 10.5 seconds ahead of Helium, dominating the field. But here's the Real SD, who was faster than Danish. But such a contact has definitely put an end, I guess, to his momentum because he was moving ahead quite quickly with the help of RB Ferralo. Now he has had contact with RB Ferralo, so I think he'll be maintaining even more caution while he follows RB Ferralo through.
I think we probably have a bit of action here as well in P15 for P14 as Faizan is tailing Charles quite closely, sticking barely a meter or 2 behind his diffuser. Faizan takes the tighter line, but compromises his exit out of the right-hander. So yeah, the gap has built inside.
Broken on the exit there, if you notice, Dan.
Sorry, can you come again, please?
Faizan broke on the exit of the chicane. I am not sure why.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. He did compromise his line out of that. Oof, I think something's going on here as they are close once again. It looks like Faizan has managed to make the move on Charles Leclerc. Yeah.
Let's call him Madhav.
I don't want to get Madhav. To be for lack of better word, as Madhav does not look like he's giving up yet. He goes for a dive bomb. All sorts on the inside. Faizan tries for a switchback and bumps him off the track and almost sends him into the pit lane. Oof, that was quite a turn. Man, this car must have quite the small turning radius.
If you notice that, Dan, Madhav broke at 50, whereas Faizan broke at the correct 75 meters. Madhav broke at 50, so he had to carry the brakes for longer into the corner. That's why by the time he reached the apex, he was slower. Because of course the Undistry are also adding to his speed, getting slower through the corners, and Faizan just hit his rear. So that is on Madhav for making such a move.
It could be also that Faizan was not anticipating Madhav to be so slow, but yeah, as far as I can say, it was not a bad move because Faizan did Madhav did block off Faizan from trying to make the move as Babaji tries to go for a move down the inside, but also manages to compromise Deepak's line as they both seem to be going neck to neck against each other, but Deepak seems to have made the better of this situation. Deepak does try to cover off the inside in this particular scenario as Babaji tries to go for a move down the inside, gets the inside line for the second corner and comes out ahead of Deepak. Another desync moment. And there's another battle going on here between Ronak and the real SD, but we cannot go, we cannot just switch to another driver here because the battle between these two drivers is, as I was just about to say, not over yet, but it looks like it almost is.
It is over.
Oof.
Well, now we can switch to the real SD because he's still close to RB.
Yep, it's three drivers going against each other. It's the same battle as before, and SD looks like he's got much better straight line over here, as he seems to have. Yeah, he makes quick work of Ronak. Probably got a bit of damage. I'm not sure why Ronak. Not yet. That move seems to have been made a bit too easily by SD. I'm not sure.
Could be poor exit by RP.
Yep, that was probably the case because before the triple hander, that straight there, there is a hairpin over there, the left hander. So yeah, probably got a bad exit. There are more battles going on here. This one particular between Faizan, Ashley, and Worship the Panda. But yeah, the gap seems to have increased again. And SD has had a moment.
Oh no! Missed it. All that hard work, only for the real SD to fall back down. And that's Worship the Panda, Ashray, and Faizan right behind him now. Faizan and Ashray having a bit of a battle here. Faizan seemed to have gone past Ashray, and considering the gap, I think Ashray made a mistake somewhere.
Yep, Faizan was a bit off of Faizan, but Ashray probably should have made a mistake if he had to have fallen that far behind Faizan.
Yep, and can I just briefly mention at the gap, just a matter of 5 laps between Davish and Helium has gone up by about 6 or 7 seconds yet again.
Yeah, I am not really surprised at this point, but yeah, let's just stay on both this battle between Charles and Nikhil. Oof! Both drivers had contact.
Okay, that is contact. That is not
major. That was major contact. Nikhil completely. I don't know what happened. Which driver was at fault? But it looks like Charles has sustained quite a bit of damage, as we can see from the completely dented. Completely dented door, the front bumper. Yep, but that car looks like it's total.
It is. Looking at the replay that I have on my side, that was on Nikhil. He moved in to Madhav and then he had contact and he got taken out. But Samad Habib on a comeback yet again for the 3rd time this race, up into P10, getting past Dark Knight.
Made quick work of Dark Knight with Samad there, showing his vintage Samad-ish abilities. Good on him. But again, Tanish and Ronak seem to be going off against each other. But Tanish seems to be taking a backseat here. But as I was just about to say, Ronak compromised his line out of turn 1 and almost with a drift there. Tanish looked like he was going to take the position, but Ronak is again alongside him. But Tanish goes really wide to try to get a better exit. But yeah, both drivers seem to be equal lines of sorts. But yeah, Tanish seems to have come ahead in this battle. For now, it's not over yet.
Not over yet. Tanish getting past RB Ferralo, as we just saw. Again, Ferralo is I'd say on par with Tanish's pace, but yeah, Tanish has had a much better exit coming out of that corner, and that's why he just made that move quite easily on RB.
Well, at this point, it feels like it's just Tanish's natural ability as a driver that is that is helping him stay on track in this position, because he did not have any practice whatsoever as Ronak contemplates another move down the inside, but has had to back off at the last second. But yes, we still have this long straight, but Danish had a better exit out of that penultimate corner. As we have a 6.5
Danish is
minutes.
faster in terms of lap times. Danish is faster.
Yeah, but somehow Ronak seems to be keeping up to him. So yeah, I'd say that they are equal on pace. But yeah, the lines by the driver in that lime green car number 62, do seem to be a bit off, as Charles.
I think, yeah, I was about to mention. I think he's had struggling, and he seems to have gotten even more damage to his car out of somewhere. I think, yeah, that definitely looks like that. You can see a bit of scratches on the left-hand side as well as the rear. So yeah, he's had more sort of contact, I guess, with the wall at some point. I think he's lost it on his own accord since Faizan and Swagato were up by a position each.
Yep, and for the first time in this race, I'm seeing that the gaps between each driver is more than a second. So, I was just about to breathe a sigh of relief, as again the gaps are have been closed down again. Deepak is hot on the tail of Babaji, as he does go a little wide out of that penultimate corner. The gap between both drivers closed down to half a second. But it looks like Deepak won't have enough space to make a move in this corner, although he could try to
Unless he's brave.
No. Deepak is that any sort of move made in that kind of scenario would just be dumb, not brave. But yeah, Deepak, we know Deepak. He is a smart driver. It wouldn't even have struck his mind. So, but probably could have tried dummying Richie into thinking that he was going to make a move in order to, attempt to compromise his line, as we did see for a brief second there. SD almost SD beating his quality time, in fact, with a 143-ish, high 143's lap. Let's quickly go on board the SD, because he is close to Samad Habib. Was 2 tenths behind him now, almost 4 tenths. But I think a move is coming up pretty soon, because Samad looks like he's losing out a lot on the straights, or I don't know how to put it. Looks like ST's got a lot of straight line speed. We saw him dispatching RB Ferraro with a lot of ease, as he does go a bit too close to the wall, the tire barrier over there. But yeah, I think a move is coming up here, because due to that straight line speed advantage, and look at that, it's probably 2-3 Ks faster than Samad here, as Samad just attempts to cover off the inside, but SD probably, yeah, I think he lifted off a little bit going into those series of corners. So yeah, it's back to square one for now, but yep, let's not forget the straight that is coming up, so the straight line advantage will play into the hands of SD once again. With still not going into the slipstream of the black MX-5 in front of him, but does break a tad bit later. Samad, although compromises his line, so SD will probably have the better exit out of this.
Actually, I wouldn't say compromises his line, since through turn 1 there's actually turn 2. There's a lot of lines through there, so it's not really a compromise.
SD breaks really late there, almost goes side by side with Samad.
Samad blocks the inside though. Looks the line to make sure that SD does not make a move. SD still not giving up, though, trying to make a move around the outside and makes it stick. Wow.
Samad is out. Samad is spun around. I don't think there was any contact between both drivers. So,
looked like it.
No, I'm pretty sure there was no contact between both drivers. It was quite visible from my end, as I think that's Babaji and Deepak still going off against each other as we probably have 2 laps of racing left in this race. So, and these drivers have still not given up for that P5 points position as Deepak briefly moves ahead into P5 and almost goes into
Almost contact.
almost goes into Babaji, but was smart enough once again to lift off for that corner in order to survive to fight another day. Oof.
Indeed.
Down to the wire indeed this race.
Rough battling. Yeah, I mean between these guys, between P5 and P6, it's a lot of points difference. It's just like real life with how teams, depending on where they finish, they get a bonus of about $10 or so million in their prize money. So it's the same here. There's a lot of difference between the points that they gain between P5 and P6. So they will be fighting tooth and nail for every position that they can secure, because that would just mean that get just those many more points compared to the rivals, and that will help them at the end of the day to get closer to whatever region that they're trying to fight with.
Of course, we're not getting any prize money whatsoever. Probably will soon once IRC goes pro. Yeah, yep. But by then you probably will have a kid of your own, and we will be handling family and responsibilities. Sadly.
Positively.
Yeah, but that's That's a topic for another day, as we are in the final lap of this race. I think yes, it is the final lap of this race, as these two drivers are still going off against each other. What happened?
It said leader is on the final lap,
and then it just killed off the race.
Hold on, let me pull up the chat, Assetto Corsa chat. There could be some sort of issue on our side and not actual game. No messages in the chat so far. I believe it is an issue on our side.
Well, that is quite a downer.
Well, I can't even go into the voice chat now because these guys are in their respective regions' voice chat.
Yeah,
let me invade their privacy.
Let me quickly try to restart the game.
Okay, so they say the lobby died.
Oh no!
Server is down. The dying moments of this. One lap to go.
That is just disheartening. Oh my god.
That is such a
devastating.
Bummer, man.
That is just absolutely devastating. All of it is it's just down the drain.
And are you sure we're not in the F1 game with a few mods installed?
It's probable that someone DDoSed us, like how it happened in the.
Oh, I hope not.
Like how it happened in the what race was it again? How it happened.
SEC start 24 hours. I think 12 hours actually. Yeah.
Well.
Fully not a DDoS. Hopefully, just an issue on the server, and I think we'll be taking results of lap previous. We'll see. We'll keep you guys updated on the situation.
I just hope. I mean, I'm at a juxtaposition because I want a race restart, but at the same time I don't want a race restart because I'm first off, I'm really hungry. I need to go have my dinner. And it's half an hour of racing, but at the same time the racing was very exciting, much more exciting than what we've witnessed in any of our events. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say much more exciting, but yeah, compared to a lot of the racing that we've seen so far, much more exciting.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, that is true. And yeah, everyone, welcome in the chat as well, whoever has been messaging. Aradhya Gupta right now says, well, looks like R-Factor servers came to Assetto Corsa.
Yes, R-Factor too. That was the name that I was looking for.
Uh,
So probably it's probable that whoever was hosting the server had ACT as their ISP. And for whoever doesn't know, ACT is quite horrible.
Garbage.
Yeah. Shift to Airtel, people. 24/7, 365.
442 says Airtel so much better.
Yeah, indeed. I paid for 200 Mbps, but I get 300 Mbps speed, and I don't.
I paid
I
for 300 and sometimes I get 400. So yeah, we'll absolutely take it. I recommend Airtel if you're in India.
Yep.
Which everything else.
Quite the philanthropists they are. Uh, so yeah, switch to Airtel as soon as you can, people, because once once Geo comes in to the scene,
Yeah.
probably will hike up their prices
Yeah.
or not.
That's a topic for another day again. There's 442 in the chat who I believe is Azim Banatwala, and he says crash Chateau Corsa. I mean, it is quite rare that a Chateau Corsa causes issues like this, despite it being a decade-old game now. Surprisingly holds out well, but it's not end of the world. We'll still have to we still have to come to a conclusion as to what we will do with the race. Perhaps take the results from one lap prior and then finish off with
Yeah.
finish off with the second race. And there's a few more comments coming in saying that finally everyone has a taste of what Tavlish feels every time he does an important endurance race.
Well, not just important, not just endurance races outside of IRC, even in the even in the events within IRC itself, because he's had a lot of these disconnects happen right in the final few laps. Man would be dominating the entire race, leading P2 by 20-30 seconds, and yeah, he just randomly disconnect out of the blue, and yeah, all that hard work gone to waste, or not so hard work, because yeah, I at this point it feels like man is not putting in any effort, but still manages to smoke everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think we have to add a 20 kg blast with the leash. If you know, you know.
Or maybe you could be his backseat driver.
Okay.
Yeah, should be enough of a ballast.
That's an unnecessary fat joke there. And
oh, is that a fat
answering
joke?
the Rajas. Yes, that was a fat joke. But yeah, answering the Raja sound, can I join race 2? I believe not, because it will be a reverse grid of race 1. So I'm positive that you cannot. Although you should contact a coordinator, or you should contact Deepak Raj. Actually, yeah, he is a coordinator, so you should contact Deepak Raj, ask him how it works, because it is going to be reverse grid for the second race. So yeah, we might not allow it.
Yep. Nobody loves a reverse grid unless you finished last the previous race. So, yeah, I mean, if that is going to be the case, then imagine a man on a controller is going to be leading the rest of the pack.
I would love to see that.
Oof,
this reminds me. Okay. All right. I was about to say that this reminds me of the F2 Mini Championship that we had a few seasons ago on the Xbox side when there was no crossplay, so all of the platforms were different. I don't remember it being streamed. I'm not sure, though. I think it was streamed, where Relativity, or Face Fighter as he's known on the Xbox side of things, he kind of did the same thing. We had a reverse grid, and he was in P1, and I was about to say Sagar, it's Swagger. Swagger will be in P1, and yeah, it'd be a bit of a challenge like it was earlier on between the two of them. To see how long can they hold out that P1 for. It should be fairly easy going into turn 1, because all he has to do is start, and he seems to be taking first couple of turns fairly easily. I see that his main problem is that chicane with the tire barrier very very close to him. So yeah, it will be a bit of a it'll be a bit of a interesting race to see, to say the least, with the reverse grid coming up, as if it does come up.
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, it's the whole track is a massive drift zone for Swagger. So I
More
think
clips for his channel.
yes, turn one probably will hold his position, but turn two he'll be drifting right off into the outside line. So yeah.
Okay, let's not roast any driver for now.
Small announcement to the viewers and you guys. Since the server magically crashed, although it didn't crash, everything was working. The lobby just died. No idea how it happened. So, possibility of making an entry list based on event or session one order is going to be a bit of issue. So, what we have decided is we're going to go with a 5-minute quali and a 30-minute race. So that's what everyone has agreed upon as well. So we'll be waiting till the server opens up and everyone will join, and we'll have a 5-minute quali session and 30-minute visualization.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we can't carry out the reverse grid structure because entry list is going to be
no.
Okay.
entry list one won't be
no.
Swagger was
okay, so Simply Whitey was magically pulled out of this VC. I don't know where he went. Probably Racing Gods probably claimed him. Can't say for sure. And he's back already.
Yeah.
Where were you?
Thanks to Xbox for not optimizing Discord for shit. Yeah, I was going to say that Swagger will definitely be, delighted for a couple of seconds before the news broke out to him that there will be no reverse grid, and yeah, he will be a bit disappointed now, to say the least.
Well, it wasn't actually Swagger who was last because yeah, we saw Shantanu and yeah, it was just Shantanu who was in the pits at that time. So Shantanu would have taken P1 and then followed by Swagger, and then I think it was Madhav. Yeah, and I don't remember the rest of the grid, unfortunately. But
I mean,
yeah.
it is a pretty dodgy way of taking P1, I'd say, because we didn't see any contact that happened with him, and neither has he sent a message regarding any contact. So I think that's just a very scummy way of getting P1 for race 2. But luckily, we will have, as the real SD came in just a few minutes prior and mentioned that there'll be a 5-minute qualifying with a 30-minute race taking forward. I think, yeah, that will mitigate out any such chances of any driver taking P1.
I mean, if you
such a way.
If you take that as a point, then I mean, if it's all automated, the reverse grid thing, I would be taking P1 because I did not even do a single lap, so I was technically in the P last. So by that logic, yeah, I should be P1. Don't you think?
Yeah. I'd back it. One whole lap of just on board with you to see what happens, and then you can RTG.
Yeah, probably crash out a driver or two, or maybe 2 drivers just to put the icing on the cake. 2 more drivers. Maybe SD.
GP 500.
Yeah, GP 500 to not crash into you.
Yeah.
I am saving up for a trip to Pondicherry in the next month, so yeah, really need that drip. The
so
grub.
in February, just hang around in Pondicherry and see if you can find a very tall, handsome-looking man. And if you do see such, then it is tan.
Yeah, and if Simply Whitey does go 18, by then he will be into the legal drinking age. No, I completely forgot. It's 21.
Hey,
I am really
21.
sorry. Simply, but yeah, you'll have to wait 3 years. But I don't think you're gonna wait for that, are you? Maybe.
Let's not admit to crimes on the stream, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I was going to ask SD while he was in the com box about his about his comeback that was almost a comeback. But due to an incident, I think with RB Ferraro, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it was RB Ferraro out of
You
turn
can
one.
always pull him in.
He's probably doing something important, like making the lobby or something like that. Yeah, I think the server is starting up right now. We'll check it out. So just give me a minute. I will be right
Dan,
back.
how about we go on a bit of a break, give ourselves a bit of a break as well, and then we'll come back once quali starts.
Sure, that would also do.
Well,
So
then
stay.
we'll catch. Yeah, stay tuned. We'll come back to you guys in just about a few minutes here, as we also need to take a break.
Yeah. See ya.
Yeah, so I personally have come back just to reply to Azim. He says, "Come to Bangalore meetup. You won't be the first IRC member I give the first drink." I won't still be legal age since my birthday is in November. I'm still 17. So yeah, that will be illegal completely. But yeah, back to the break. All right, we are back after a short break and a bit of a conversation in the YouTube chat with Azim. As mentioned earlier by the real SD, since the lobby just shut down by itself, we cannot set the reverse grid, so we have agreed upon a 5-minute qualifying, followed by yet again a 30-minute race. This does add a bit of a delay to our schedule of streaming and stuff, but yeah, we really thank you guys for your patience of watching and staying with us. And we're on board with Tavlish right now in the short 5-minute qualifying. Only about 4 minutes to go, and Tavlish seems to be on an outlap right now, as we can see on the top right. Yeah, just warming up the tires as he be preparing set his lap, and yeah, you can see him flashing his lights to as sort of a signal to the driver ahead to get out of the way, as the driver does get out of the way. And I believe their time there runs well. They only have about enough time to make runs, 2 or 3 runs, maximum of 3. I'd say only a feasible amount would be 2 runs. So yeah, this will be interesting since there will be a lot of pressure on literally everyone. And if you look on the track map, you can see that everyone is just in a line. So everyone's come out right behind each other to set a qualifying lap time. And yeah, WH does not need a slipstream, but the other drivers may require a bit. And it'll also be interesting to see where Swagger Turbo ends up, because his qualifying pace seems to be quite decent compared to his actual race pace. But then again, that's understandable because it's hard to be consistent with the controller in a race setting compared to just doing one quick lap in qualifying. And yeah, because the session has changed, that'll mean that the cars, the drivers will have different liveries on the cars. So it'll be a bit confusing initially for you and for me, but we'll get to it. As we're still on board with Tavlish, who's setting a very, very good lap. His car seems to be in control. It looks like, although as he's, yeah, I was about to say that. I mean, he looks like he's, you know, when you're on board with Tavlish, it looks like as though, you know, as if he's not pushing his car, whereas he just has so much control over it that he is pushing. The car is not getting unsettled anywhere. He's literally on the exact limit of the grip all of the times. And yeah, that's why his driving looks so calm and controlled, and he is a very calm and controlled driver. Has enough time to set one more lap. He could dip it to the 41s if he really tries here. Exactly. Wouldn't matter that much. He's on a hot streak, but he would be fine if he were to just RTG, which is return to garage, and just not set another lap time. I mean, it's really hard to gain a second and a bit on your lap. You know, talking about Helium here, he has set in a very, very good lap time, of course. Then again, Tavlish is just an of this world. He's an alien. Yeah, so that could mean that a lot of time, unless he was up by a lot more, which would mean that, you know, he wouldn't really mind it that much. As we come into the final sector of this lap, yeah, up by almost a tenth. He's up by 0.08 of a second because of that earlier mistake. So I think he would have dipped into the 41s if it weren't for that mistake. Definitely could have been. Has lost a lot of time there, being on the edge of the track limits and on the main straight, coming across the line. What does he said? Oh my god! quick. Alien. Eat alien. ACC. And I mean, in GTA, you people will be quite close because of GTA physics. Oh, okay. That was a bit scary. Yeah. Leash in P1, followed closely by Helium. Yep, I say closely. It's not really closely, is it? A second in double quotes, yeah. Closely in double quotes, a second off of the Leash is Helium with a 43.0, followed yet again double quotes closely by the Realized. He was a second off of Helium, but actually very closely followed by FIFA Kanak in P4, Moto in P5, Tanish in P6, Chandra Passion in P7, Babaji in P8, RB Ferrell in P9, Worship the Panda in P10, Shantanu in P11, Faizan in P12, Dark Knight P13, Charles in P14, Swagatob P15, Nikhil P16, Supreme Leader Aladdin P17, Deepak in P18, Samad Habib, who does not do qualifying for the people who did not know, by the way, in P19, and by the looks of it, quite a washed driver in P20. No, I was referring to you. Alright. I mean, technically you are, but yeah, interesting qualifying. And if you're wondering why we have sat here, because we have been instructed that what we did earlier was wrong and that we should just wait until the countdown timer goes to 0. We will be teleported back to the pits automatically, and then we will be able to spectate. So we're just waiting for that to happen. 5 more seconds left as the lights are going off. There is someone behind you. Onboard the rest. Oh my god! Yep. Come on, Swagger. Almost 3 wide on the straight. So there's contact between Swagger and Swagger spins, and there's carnage, and there are more people on. What is happening? What is happening? Oh, Dan, by the way, apparently they can't hear us. Such a difficult unmute us. What?
They could hear you, but they couldn't hear me. My mic was muted, unfortunately.
Alright, I wasn't talking, but yeah, my reaction was the same as Dan's.
Oh.
Just shouting and like, oh my god, because see, this track, everyone is so close that all it took was Swagger to make a small mistake for a huge chain reaction to unfold, and a lot of drivers have been taken out. While Swagger's cruising in P13, Aladdin, Dark Knight and Itzel behind him, and I think they were also involved in some of the incidents. And Swagger just staying on the outside, and he actually has a very good exit. So I think he's suddenly switched on some sort of an traction control. I think he might have turned his traction control.
Hacks. I call hacks.
Maybe hacks. I call hacks. He was drifting. Why is he not drifting now?
Exactly. He always drifts through that corner. Oh.
Here
okay.
too.
He's
There's
actually.
the drift.
Where is the drift? There's no drift. Exactly. He's driving too well all of a sudden. And it's okay. It's Ronak and Moto going off against each other. Okay, let's just stay on both. These people are so big leader. Aladdin fucks to the side.
Aladdin. Oh yeah, I think there's more contact there. We're not know who it is. And yeah, we welcome all of the viewers in the chat as well. It is popping off right now.
Oh,
and there's a
Faizan
God,
just bumps
there's more
off.
contact. That's Ronak. Ronak, I think, has been pushed off by Faizan in an effort to fight Moto. Now it's Faizan and Moto. Faizan behind Moto. Faizan is being forced off the line by Moto defending in all sorts of manners to try and hold his position. It is working out quite well here, but yeah, Faizan might report that because that was, I think, more than 2 moves there. So yeah, that could be penalty for Moto.
Yep. We will leave it to the stewards to decide on that matter. Probably a little too sketchy. Maybe we would need to take a clearer look at, as Eitzel is now close to Swagger. God knows what kind of chaos is going to ensue over here. What are your bets?
There's already a bit of chain reaction here.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there's a drift. Amazing control by Swagger.
Where to go? Yes, quite a good save he made there.
Well
but
made.
it's Deepak who's probably having PTC moments as Swagger looked like he slowed down on purpose there just to let him pass. Probably
would have been the better move. Yeah,
Yeah.
can we go on about Swagger again? Because I think Shantanu and Dark Knight are closing in.
Yeah, before that, I think, we can go on board Ronak and Faizan here, as they did have a moment there for briefly had a moment there as when both drivers were going side by side. Oh, both of them take the sausage curbs quite a lot as, Swagger drops down another 2 positions.
Yeah, he's definitely spun.
Yeah, so...
Not so drift anymore.
Yeah, but a lot of
this
drivers...
Is a battle between Fakanak and Ashray, I believe.
Yeah, that is FIFA Kanak and Ashley going off against each other. Kanak going a little too wide, compromising his line, but probably will have a better exit out of turn 2. Sticking very close to the diffuser of Ashley. Barely a meter or two separating both the drivers. Although, Kanak will not have enough space to take advantage of that slipstream. Yeah, it looks like he does. He will back out of that scuffle for a bit, but yeah, and that'll probably pave the way for Moto to join the fray, because he's also not too far off these 2 drivers. So yeah, they better stay on their toes, because more trouble brewing for them.
Indeed, and can we go on board Samad, because there's a bit of happening between him and Swagger. That'll be interesting to see.
Samad, Habib and Tanish. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah,
Tanish in the mix as well.
Samad, Habib. Swagger Turbo attracting all sorts of flies, for lack of better word. Oh, he's rammed that tire barrier and completely wrecked his car. Yep, and almost collected Samad with him. But yes,
that would have been heart in the mouth moment for Samad. But Samad should be worrying about Tanish right now, who's trying to make a move around the outside. But yeah, does not work out for him. Although Samad goes onto the grass, and Tanish Also goes onto the grass, but somehow manages to stay ahead.
Okay, so both drivers not having a good day in the office. As let's quickly jump on both these two drivers, Shantanu and Nikhil. Shantanu now taking SD's livery. And what livery is SD running, I'm not really sure, but let's just stay on board these two drivers. But it looks like Shantanu has...
Can we go on board Koushik and Chandrapur? They're pretty close, a 10th.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
So, Koushik has...
By side through the hairpin. And Koushik seems to have... Oh, that's someone gone off.
I'm not sure who that was.
Is.
That's certainly not FIFA Koushik.
It's, I believe, a lap car. That could be Rajasant since he's quite
Yeah,
far
he's
behind.
a lap and 32 seconds down. So, yeah, it has to be him, undoubtedly.
It is a lap. A lap is about 1 minute 30.
Yeah,
so,
sorry. Yeah.
He is a lap down.
Lap down.
Yeah. Koushik still trying to put pressure on Ashley. Ashley defending off quite well, actually. But yeah, the killer tire barrier has consumed one already. Did consume another, we'll have to see, as there's 21 more minutes to go in this race. Chandrapa Ashray defending the inside of the coming corner. Koushik looks down the inside as Ashray moves to the outside and he sends it down the inside and he makes the move stick. Amazing move by FIFA
Brilliantly
Koushik.
executed by Chandrapa, trying to dummy him into covering off the covering off the outside, but went for a last second dive down the inside. So yeah, brilliantly executed by him.
I think it would have been better off defending the inside, but yeah, that is still a very good move by FIFA Koushik nonetheless. This is Faizan who is battling it out with Worship the Panda. Worship the Panda in the yellow car now. To make a move on Faizan. Faizan in the black car. He has the inside. Panda is ahead on track right now, but Faizan has sent it. He's broken not only
Almost collected him too.
Fun.
Yeah, and quite unfortunate.
It is very easy to lock the rears on this car, considering, of course, lesser downforce. So yeah, that's what has happened with Faizan, and Faizan seems to be struggling, to say the least. I mean, he has pace, he has enough pace to come back, but then he's just not managing to keep it clean, and that's what will be costing him points here if he does not fix that with 20 more minutes to go in this race.
Oof, time flies when you're having fun. These words cannot be said any more strongly, because my compared to the last race, this race has been absolute chaos. If only my mic wasn't muted in the beginning, then the first 5 minutes of this race, y'all would have felt my emotions.
I'm sure me screaming the same things as you kind of gave them the emotions of what was going on in here. Comms box.
Yeah, but
yeah, it was chaotic. It was, again, a reaction of what could have happened in Monaco yesterday. One driver makes a mistake and a whole chain reaction starts. Luckily, there was no such thing, at least in Monaco, but here, yeah, there was such a thing, and yeah, it does make for entertaining viewership. It does not make it fun for the drivers, though. What is not fun right now for Faizan is the fact that Deepak is right alongside him right now, and if Faizan makes the same mistake, if Faizan makes the same mistake going into turn 1 again, he could do something a lot more position. That
he does make the same mistake.
He made the same mistake.
Also
he taps Madhav. He has tapped Madhav. Luckily, he's gotten away cleanly. But yeah, Faizan now down into P14 on the edges of points, because only the top 15 get points. Darknet pretty close to him. Darknet, of course, not as fast as Faizan, since he is still adapting to his new wheel. But yeah, if Faizan again somehow manages to make the same mistake 3 times in a row, he will be out of the points and quite far behind the rest of the pack.
What's that saying? Fool me once, I am something, fool me twice. How does it go exactly? I don't remember that saying, but yeah, I kind of got reminded of that quote as, Deepak makes a mistake, and Faizan is coming right behind him. Deepak, although doesn't look like he's trying to block him off from trying to pass him. But
He's hit the tire barrier and he has been collected.
What is happening?
No! What is going on? And hit the tire
Deepak
barrier.
is-
Unfortunately for Deepak was right behind him. Yeah, Faizan still slow, and luckily they managed to avoid him. The summary of what happened there was Faizan hit the tire barrier there. That's pretty rock solid. Deepak, unfortunately, being right behind him, he got collected with him, and he literally got stopped on track. He had to hit the brakes to ensure Faizan doesn't drag him, across the circuit. And unfortunately, Deepak now has gone from solid point scoring positions. I believe he made a mistake, and because of that, he was on P14 fighting with Faizan. And with that contact with Faizan, he's now down into P17. And that is Supreme Leader Aladdin in the walls.
That's
So supreme.
yeah. That's actually the second time Deepak's flow has been ruined because of Faizan's antics. Yep, he should be pretty livid after what's transpired over the last 15 minutes. Because
Yep, I mean, we do not like talking down on drivers, but the racecraft from Faizan's side has been a bit dodgy, to say the least, throughout this event. But we can excuse him, since I think he doesn't really have enough time his day to practice for these events, so he's just balling it in. Yeah. So I mean, it's still props to Faizan for showing up and racing with us. Yeah, it has been a bit dodgy, since if you go and look at the amount of penalty points that Faizan has cost his region, so far it has been 13. You may be like, yeah, but it's only 13. Well, considering the rest of the regions where every driver on average is scoring both a similar amount of points per event, then yeah, I mean, you do lose out a lot of points. Ahmad, defending off from Deepak, almost have contact with Deepak. Deepak on a comeback drive now. Has the inside, sends it down the inside, although Samad is keeping it through the outside. He had the inside and he still kept it. They're still going side by side. None of them ready to give up on the position, but by the looks of it, Deepak has given it up as Samad makes a mistake, and Deepak will have the opportunity to make a move going into turn 1. So he could be hindered by the two cars ahead of him, Nikhil and Dark Knight, who are also fighting it out, just like him and Samad are. And he has a bit of contact with Samad, so that helps Samad now, since he has gotten a bit of a bump draft. Samad, they're making 3 wide on the straight. Let's stay on board with Deepak since he has the best angle. Nikhil, and there has seemed to be contact between Samad and Dark Knight. Nikhil gets selected because of that, and Deepak has benefited from it. He's up into P15.
so that's Samad and Dark Knight dropping like rocks in water. Oh, yeah. The turn 1 has caused the turn 1 has seen quite a few incidents, quite a lot of incidents. Man, it's just, and we're just halfway through the race. That too. I wonder what more is left to happen. My God.
Amount of chaos that's ensued in the first half just means that there'll be a lot more in the second half.
Oh, there we go!
And yeah, there already is! Just as I say that! Just as I say that, that's Nikhil who goes up wide, and Deepak has been yet again relegated out of the points.
It's a gauntlet. It's a freaking gauntlet at this point. Deepak has had to avoid so many obstacles. It's like, yeah, it's an obstacle course for him. I can't express it. Oof, I think we had another incident in the back. Nikhil going off track. I think it's almost like, yeah, he's stuck in neutral and unable to take his car. I don't know with who he had the incident with, but yeah, Nikhil, yeah, he's RTG'd and he is called it a day, unfortunately.
From this race.
Yeah, and for now we can stay on board. Charles and Shantanu. Shantanu's having a better race compared to the last one. Probably thanking the racing gods for that. That server crash, but probably the points will be counted. But he looks like he has gone ahead of Charles Madhav for now. But yeah, a good move by Shantanu over there. Ooh!
Madhav spun on the curbs. Half spin rather, actually. He keeps control of his car, so yeah, amazing car control from Madhav as well. As we're on board with RP Ferralo now, who's behind Itzel, putting pressure on Itzel for that P8 position. Ironic.
Oh, there we go. Once more.
Deepak and Nikhil, will there be more contacts between the two of them? Nikhil goes off wide, he's on the
That's actually
grass.
Dark Knight.
That's Dark Knight, okay, well.
Yeah, Nikhil's RTG'd.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Dark Knight, yeah, well, he is struggling, but then again, we can excuse Dark Knight for mistakes. Again, as I mentioned earlier, he is adapting to his new wheel and going from controller to wheel. The big jump. So yeah, we can excuse him, but he will be on pace when season 10 starts. And you may be wondering, when does that start? Join the server to find out. Whenever the announcement goes out, you will also be the first people to know.
Can I just give me a minute, simply right? I'll be right back.
Sure, no worries. You can see Worship the Panda quite close behind RB Ferrell. RB Ferrell does not seem to have enough pace to catch up to the pack that I believe Ashray is leading in P6. It's between Ashray, Moto, and 8 and they're actually going side by side right now. And Ashray is still keeping it ahead, and Worship the Panda seems to be faster than RB Ferraro right now, so I think he'll be on Worship the Panda's list to get past RB Ferraro as quickly as possible to catch up to the pack that's just ahead of him, to perhaps try and gain a lot more positions. And they're still going side by side. I think that is Moto and 8 the battle between the mods for that position, as Ashray Chandrapa will be benefiting from the battle of those two guys, since he will be pulling away by quite a bit here, as their battle has actually helped RB Ferrello to catch up to them as well now. So has Worship the Panda. So it's a 5-way battle for P6, and things are just getting interesting, as I believe Dan is back. RB Ferrello on the outside of 8 and yeah, luckily no further contacts, just a bit of wheel banging there. That's it, and that's what we like to see as well. Clean and fair racing. Worship the Panda now right on the tail of Ronak again, going into the final corner. I think he will be waiting out to make a move into turn 1. And that's Worship the Panda having a bit of a moment there. Luckily, keeps the control of his car and does not make a mistake, although this will hinder his progress. With only about 10.5 minutes to go in this race.
It was a 5-car train here, what we see right now. So, clean racing from these people. Props to them for, not following suit of what we saw from some of the drivers that we saw a little while ago. But yeah, it looks like Tanish and I think that's Charles going off against each other. So yeah, Tanish seems to have made a little effort, quick work of Madhav over here. But just before that, it looked like Madhav was catching up to Tanish, probably trying to capitalize on a mistake that's been made. But Tanish seems to have picked up the pace. Yeah, he has made quite a lot of mistakes. As it looks like 8 and Moto are close to each other now. Both the moderators of IRC going off against each other. 8 picks up an excellent slipstream from Moto. They're both going side by side to that, approaching that fast-flowing right-hander, as 8 looks like he's backed out of that move. Probably was expecting Moto to make a mistake going into that corner, as we did see a lot of drivers going off into the grass. But yeah, Moto seems to have kept his car on track and ahead of 8, importantly enough.
Importantly indeed. But yeah, I think 8 is catching up to Moto, but he always particularly catches up at that particular point. And yeah, as we saw, it is quite hard to overtake that if you do not have the inside. And that is Ashray. A bit of mistake. Moto's made a mistake again because of that. And 8 and Moto fighting. 8 to be ahead of Moto because he was forced off wide, and that's helped out 8 and now 8 will be right on the rear of Ashray. Will he make a move on Ashray going into this corner? No, he certainly does not, because Ashray does not leave any space on the inside. But 8 still following quite closely to Ashray. Next overtaking opportunity is right into here, but I think he's too far behind to make a move. So I think he'll be focusing on nailing the corners as this tricky double left-hander that's quick, triple left-hander that quickly switches into a right-hander, a slow-speed right-hander. I think Eitzel has nailed it, and this is where Eitzel usually seems to be doing quite well. He's gotten a pretty good exit. He does have the slipstream from Ashray going into this chicane as well with the hard tire barricade. Ashray's made a mistake. Eitzel gets pushed off wide because of that. That might compromise his exit coming out of that corner. But he is flashing Ashray, tell him to move. But Ashray seems to be defending the inside. Eitzel gets forced off the outside. And yeah, he's still on the outside. He gets the inside for the next corner. And he is not able to make a move. Ashray goes up onto the gravel. And he is ahead. Now Moto has also Moto is taking the advantage of the both of them fighting it out, and he is ahead of the both of them. But yeah, Eitzel seems to be having much better exits compared to the other drivers around him. So Eitzel, yeah, he just got a much better exit on the final corner. Moto pushing Eitzel off wide, and yes, he's still getting pushed off wide. It's a drag race into turn one now. Who will brake later? Who will make a mistake is the question here. They're both being quite respectful as Moto has the inside. Eitzel turns.
Oh no!
Side by side, there's contact between the two of them, but nothing too serious. And Moto is still behind Eitzel. And yeah, Eitzel, amazing move by him to get past Moto. That is RB Ferrallo joining the mix of the battle as well, who's right behind the two of the moderators of Indian racing community. Ashray and Worship the Panda scraping it out as well behind them. And yeah, RB will be looking to make a move on Moto here really quickly if Moto cannot catch up to Eitzel and challenge him for that position yet again.
That was a masterful piece of racing displayed by all of these drivers here. Although, in spite of Chandrapa not having the pace, he managed to keep it clean. And as far as I'm concerned, yeah, that itself is quite the performance displayed by him. And yeah, Eitzel looks like he has come out the winner of this scuffle between these 5 drivers who were quite close to each other, much closer to each other in the last lap. When Moto went for a Mika Hakkinen-esque overtake, reminiscent of Spa, I think 2003 or 2. But yeah, that was a beautiful moment. Right for the highlight reel of this Regions Cup, the season of Regions Cup. So yeah, an amazing moment there.
And now there is RB Ferrallo and Moto going side by side into turn 1. Ferrallo has the outside, and yeah, Moto lets him by to not cause any incidents, although he's still sticking quite close to Moto. Sorry, RB Ferrallo, and that's Ashray Chandrapa who's right behind them. Following very close to them as well is Worship the Panda, and by the looks of it, Ashray will just be looking to make a move on Moto as he just does now. Worship the Panda has made a move. They're making it 3 wide, almost making it 3 wide. If it wasn't for Panda to back off, Moto has made a mistake, and because of that, it's cost him a position. Moto seems to be crumbling under pressure right now.
No, but it looked like Moto. Chandrapa also seems to have made a mistake, but does have secured the inside line for the right-hander. But it briefly looked like Moto tags Ashray and spins him out.
Ah, no.
Thus ends the valiant defense put up by this young man. Oh my God, must be extremely frustrating for him.
No. He was doing so well, so close to Eitzel, so close to Ferrallo, and now he's been tapped, and yeah, it will be very frustrating. And knowing Ashray for about 2 years at this point, he will be quite pissed off. Screaming in the voice chat for sure.
Oh yeah, I do not want to be in that voice chat right now because that's Panda also going off track. Or probably caught him off guard like a lot of the other drivers here. So that's another position lost by Worship the Panda. A position gained from Moto, who effectively has lost only 1 position throughout the last 4 or 5 laps, because he was in P7 Yeah, he was in P7, so yeah, he lost one position. So Eitzel, the winner of the whole scuffle here, has gained probably 4 or 5 positions. Yeah, quite a few winners, quite a few losers. Probably the biggest loser out of them being Chandrapa Ashray. As I think we
Out
do
of this
have,
spec, yeah.
yeah, we do have the liberty of going on board another driver. Yeah, but I think that is Swagger Turbo. Looks like, I think I'm not sure, but oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, I think he was lapped. Pretty sure that he's been lapped by now.
He has.
Yeah, he has been lapped. Yeah, Supreme Leader Aldin is the first. It was the last person to be lapped. So Dark Knight probably will follow suit. If we can go on board Davlish. Yep, Davlish is just probably 50 meters behind Dark Knight. Oh yeah, he's about to lap the driver in P17 as well.
Yeah, valiant effort by all of the drivers regardless, and yeah, they're still fighting it out here. Moto and RB Ferralo into turn 1. Moto seems to have gotten a much better exit compared to RB Ferralo. He has the inside. Will he brake much later? He has. Will he do a 5-side and lock his rears? No. Extremely well control of his car, and yeah, he makes that position up.
Interesting choice of words by my fellow commentator. But yes, Moto does manage to hold his rears for in that scenario, and yeah, he makes the same mistake as he did with Chandrapa and goes extremely wide, although manages to retain his position because Ronak did not have the best of exits out of that hairpin. Kindly excuse me there. So Moto does manage to keep the position for a moment there, as I think Davlish is about to start his yeah, he has started his last lap. So yes, this will be the last lap for all of these drivers. Oof, as Ronak is okay. So yeah, Ronak is keeping quite close to Moto. Picks up quite a bit of slipstream. Moto shifts to the outside, trying to keep the inside for the next corner. After that, holds it off. I think, yeah, does not give me the best of angles here. Oof! Moto breaks a little too much for the comfort of Worship the Panda, as he seems to have slowed down himself and Panda behind him. As Ronak manages to pick up P7, but does not get a good exit out of the penultimate corner. As yeah, so yeah, now they are on the final lap right now. They have started their final lap now, as these three drivers are still keeping quite close to each other. We also have another pack behind P12, 13 and 14 of Deepak and Tanish. If we can quickly go on board them just for a brief moment to see how close they are. Yes, indeed, let's just stay on board them for a bit, follow them down this straight, as Deepak seems to be pulling alongside Madhav, but yes, he is going for an insane dive bomb, manages to stop his car.
To quickly go to Davlish.
Yeah, Davlish is about probably, yeah, Davlish has crossed the finish line and finished the race.
And he has won.
Coming
back to the action really quickly, since it's not over yet.
So Deepak has managed to pick off. Yeah, sorry, yeah, please go ahead, simply.
No issues. Deepak is still ahead. Madhav is quite close behind him. Tanish as well. This will be the last lap pressure for all three of them. For Deepak, it will be to defend off from them. And of course, he has managed to come back into the points, as I believe you were trying to say. And yeah, Madhav, I think, will not be able to make a move on Deepak as we come into the ending bit of the second sector of this.
Let's just quickly go to Moto, the Moto strain. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's just stay on both them for a bit, because yeah, they're almost rounding off the penultimate corner. Ronak seems to have. I think that was worse to
Moto going ultra defensive.
Yes, but it looks like
worked, though.
Yeah, it looks like the status quo will remain the same. However, it looks like that's not the case here on the back of the grid because Tanish almost alongside Charles Leclerc. But yeah, pulls out the last second because yeah, that is not a corner for two drivers to go alongside unless they go like trucks. But looks like Charles Leclerc, aka Madhav, has
Will keep
managed
the
to hold him
position.
off. Yes, indeed. So, yep, a good defense put out by Charles Leclerc as Tanish finishes
be
off in
frustrated.
style. Frustrated? I don't think so. He looked
You
like
will
he
be
was having a lot of
because
fun here.
you-
And here
Faizan will
comes
be the last
our
person.
man of the match, Faizan. Managed to rack up a KD of I think 6 or 7.
I think that was Swagger, no? In the beginning, it was Swagger who caused the incident.
Yep, so Swagger and Faizan are probably tied, but yeah, enough on that. So let's just quickly run down the finishing order. So Davlish finishes in P1 with a gap of 20 seconds, followed by Helium, who finishes in P2 with as real SD for the Southeast team. Yay, go Southeast, finishing off in P3, 15 seconds I think behind Helium himself, followed by Richie aka Richard Gyan finishing in P4. Kanak Satam finishes in P5, 6 seconds behind him. Etzel, after a beautiful scuffle with four drivers behind him, finishes in P6, followed by RB Faralo in P7, Moto in P8, Worship the Panda in P9, Chandrapa Ashray after a beautiful battle unfortunately finishes in P10. Shantanu Shira, yeah, I'm not going to pronounce his name, finishes in P11, Deepak Raj in P12, Shalalurk in P13, Tanish in P14, Hamad Habib in P15 to round off the final points finishing position. Followed by Faizan in P16, Dark Knight in P17, Supreme Leader Admiral Aladin in P18, Swagger Turbo in P19, Raja Soundarajan in P20. And with, yeah, that's it for the grid order, I believe. Oh, there we go. Nikhil finished in P21. Oof,
Quite an interesting event here, to say the least.
interesting.
Very fun.
Interesting would be an understatement if you ask me, my friend, because it was almost a wreck fest.
I mean, yeah, that turn one, not turn one, sorry, lap one incidents, yeah. Those were interesting, but yeah, well, do we have interviews?
Yeah, I do believe so. If we can get the drivers into the comm box, we can proceed with them. So
The top three were Davlish, followed by
Helium and SD.
Real SD and Helium. Yep.
So yeah, they are yet to join the comm box. Any chat box for that matter. Yep, I see Davlish and he is in. So, while he's here, why don't we start off with once again our winner in the Assetto Corsa platform. Davlish, congratulations on that monstrous performance. So, talk us through your race, please.
1 moment, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no issues, no issues. So Davlish seems to have some sort of some
Yeah, I was
sort of
talking to
work
my
in the
father
background.
there. Sorry.
And no issues, man. Please take your time.
Yeah, so not a lot going on. Just by my own the entire race. Not much to say.
Yeah, just another field day.
Yeah, just another
Yeah,
field.
probably
Casually
someone
winning
like
by
Masum
20,
or
30
Sanil
seconds.
would have been there to make it interesting, but I don't know why they are not participating.
Yes, we have the same questions indeed. We have the same questions ourselves, Davlish. Why is nobody there to challenge Davlish? Will he be a
Davlish.
god forever? ACC and AC. So, yep.
An inspiration to many.
Who will topple him from his from the top step? Probably Simply Whitey. Probably me. Once I get a racing
When I'm getting lapped, yeah.
Oof, yeah, that's yeah. I realize cars don't ghost in ACC and AC. So yeah, maybe we can do something
Prepared,
about it.
Navlesh, if we meet on the track. But yeah, I believe, Navlesh. So I mean, we were on board during the qualifying on the second lobby. Control you had over your car was amazing. Like it looked like although as if you were on a cooldown lap, but you were so quick. Like any words on how you perhaps do that, as tips for the drivers who seem to be taking inspiration from you.
I don't know. It just happens automatically.
A Senna-esque moment right there, folks.
Indeed, one
Yes.
talent
Yeah. So
among us.
we also noticed that after the the tire barrier chicane, you made a mistake in coming out of it. Out of the right-hander immediately following that section. In spite of that, you managed to improve by 2/10. So I am.
Yeah, I was on a 41, which I probably would have been my best lap, but yeah, I messed it up on that corner, so that's probably why. I was already 3/10 up on the first sector. I was trying to push even further,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I also noticed that even in the practice runs, you did not break into the 41s, and
Yeah.
it would have been a godly feat if you did in a quali session where there's probably a lot more pressure on you. So,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, that was not to be the case. But still, not denying the fact that you did put on an amazing performance. So congratulations to you once again, Davlish.
Thank you.
Probably bored of hearing this
Congratulations.
phrase. But yeah.
No, never.
Never. Of course, if you're winning it all, you're never bored. Hamilton.
Absolutely.
IRC's Hamilton. Indeed. All right then. Once again, congratulations, Davlish, and moving on to Helium in P2. Helium, once again, I mean, it was quite a bit of a quiet race for you as well, staying, I think, in P2 throughout the race. So my question to you would be perhaps throughout any part of the race, especially lap one, turn one, do you think that you could try and challenge Davlish at least for a few laps, or was that out of the question?
Completely.
Right?
I don't even
Pretty
have to give
sure.
any explanation, no description, nothing. He's a second faster than me every single lap. I mean, how am I supposed to do anything?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I think
mean,
we had 20
short and simple.
seconds. I think we had 20 laps of racing, and he was 20 lap.
Yeah,
20
seconds
21
seconds
ahead.
seconds ahead of me. Yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah,
pans out
isn't
ultimately.
this?
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
there was no question of catching him. I was just thinking, like, it was the most boring P2 of my life.
Okay.
I mean, no offense to anyone else, but yeah. So it's very weird. It was a 1 second gap between me and Davlish, and then 1 second gap between me and SD. So
Yeah.
yeah, what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, not bad still. I mean, you, at the end of the day, since this is Regions Cup, you do take away a lot of points for your region for Central. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a pretty amazing points haul for the both of you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So yeah, you won't be disappointed off of that.
no, not at all.
Yes, indeed. Actually, yeah. The top two finishers are both from the central region. So yeah, you're bagging home a lot of points for your region. So additional congratulations to both of you for that.
Thank you.
Good thing SD is
Indeed.
there to save the day for us Southeast boys.
Yeah, you're 150 points ahead, and then you still need to be saved. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're not letting our guards down. You guys, we are aware of the threat from.
I don't think
The
letting
Central
your guard
boys.
down is gonna make a difference, honestly.
Yep. So yeah,
150 points is
still not
difficult to cover up.
letting our guards down. But enough on that. We still have a week of racing left. It's not over until it's over. So, yeah.
This might be the exception. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed.
Coming up on for this week all of the events are over, and quite a few fun bits of events as well. We did have a Assetto Corsa time trial as we showed in the beginning, and yeah, that was pretty fun for the drivers to do quite a bit of a challenge on the Bathurst circuit with such a fast car. And of course, yesterday you saw the midnight Monaco misery race, where it was mixed conditions, and yeah, quite a fun race. Luckily, only one DNF in both the races, so it was quite a bit of fun event to watch since a lot of the drivers are quite close to each other. And of course, today's race in on the Assetto Corsa game was yet again very entertaining race to watch. The battles happening throughout the race, throughout the field, and of course Davlish and Helium taking it away for Central. But fear not, guys, we still have one more week left of racing remaining, as we will have a dirt rally going through on the weekdays between the 23rd and 27th. Although, of course, since it is an all-day event, just like the Assetto Corsa time trials, it will not be streamed. But yeah, we will show the stats from that next week when we return for F1 and ACC. F1, of course, being on the Saturday at 8 p.m. And since the format has not yet been revealed, I can't really say what it is. But yeah, it will be revealed to all of the drivers participating quite soon. And same with ACC. And yet again, we will only get to know which region takes it away for this season of Regions Cup by the end of all of it. So yeah, this week though, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being patient throughout all of the lobby restarts and such that we had to sit across. And if you're interested in taking part in Regions Cup or any other events, as well as our seasons that will be starting quite soon in terms of league racing, the Discord server is mentioned on your screen as well as in the description. So make sure to join, and we will see you on track. But for now, though, thank you for watching this stream, and we will catch you guys next week. Have a great rest of the night, and bye.